Hi, welcome back to my channel. Let's build a very simple user registration system in Python. So if you're a beginner in Python, this project is for you. Okay. Now first let me show you how the output will look like. So let me run this particular, I have already coded it. Let me run this file. And you notice that the file name is case insensitive. Okay. So what this user registration system does. So it asks the user to enter an username and the password to register the user. Let me do that. Yeah, that's my username. And you notice that it is encrypting the value. And it is also saying that the username is allowed because this is the first username in the system. If the username was there already in the system, then it will not allow this username for the registration. Now let me enter a password of my choice, test hash 2. This is also being encrypted. And yeah, the registration is successful. So it is also showing what are the users that are registered so far. So it is displaying the username after decrypting, and it is not decrypting the password, so it is showing the encrypted password for security purpose. And yes, I want to register another participant. Let me use the same username. Yeah, it is encrypting though, but it will not allow the registration, and it is encrypting because I have a print screen added there. But anyhow, registration with this particular username is not allowed as expected, and it is also showing the users registered so far. And so that is how it will be. Let me, no, I don't want to register any more user. That's it. So we will build this and we will learn the basics of Python along the way. It will be fun, I promise. Now one thing I also want to mention is this encryption logic, how this is being encrypted. Why D is encrypted as G, E is encrypted as H, 1 is encrypted as 4. I think you are getting, there is a pattern. So there comes this logic. Yeah, you see here it is showing that A is being encrypted as D, B is being encrypted as E, C is being encrypted as F. So what it is doing? It is basically replacing this A with the third next letter in the alphabet, B by the third next letter to B, C, D, E. And also if we go to the end of the alphabet like X, Y or Z, because after Z there is no third next letter or there is no next letter even. So we will rotate. We will think that the alphabet, the letters in the alphabet is a cycle. Okay. So after Z again A, B, C, D starts. So Z will be encrypted as A, B, C. Yeah, Z will be encrypted as C. So like that. And similarly, if our alphabet contains digits, similarly digits will be also encrypted the similar way. Now we can take third next letter or third next digit, or we can take fourth next digit or fourth next letter or anything that we can decide in runtime. So this is a very beautiful concept. This is called Caesar cipher in cryptography, and we will use this beautiful yet very simple encryption logic in our project. Okay, yeah. Now let us start with building this encryption logic first. It might get longer, so I'll do it parts by parts. Let us build a function. The function syntax in Python is very easy. Just use define def, then the function name. Mm, Let me give it encrypt and then a colon. Oops, sorry. Of course, we need to define the function parameters and then a colon. Now our function will accept parameters, of course, the input will be username as well as password. So the input will contain letters, digits, or any special characters. And also this indentation is very crucial in Python. If the indentation is improper, then it throws error. Okay, this function will, suppose I have given input as DEBA. And according to our logic, so what logic we will use? So we will replace each character by its fourth next letter. So D will be E, F, G, H in that sense. E will be F, G, H, I, like that. So Now here this shift or this replacement by third next, fourth next, fifth next, 10th next, 100 next, this can be changed at any time, right? So better let us take a variable for it, and we will always use these variable value as 4. So instead of every time using 4 as hard coded, we will use the variable name, and if we want to change it, we need to only change it in this one position in this function definition. Okay. Now what this function will do, it will take each character, it will read through this input, it will take each character one by one, and then it will replace it. So first D will be replaced, then E will be replaced, then B will be replaced, then A will be replaced. So basically we need to iterate over this input, and when I say iterate over, it means we need to use a loop. So let's take a for loop. The syntax is very easy. For the iteration variable we need to give, so something like I in iteration variable will um, take something in every iteration from what will be the source, our input, and the colon is mandatory. Let me give a better name, card, because it will be every character from this input. Okay. Now what it will do, we will change every character by its fourth next character. Okay, so if it is a letter, it will be replaced by its fourth next letter. Now how do we know what is the fourth next letter for this current letter which is in this character variable? Okay, or if it is a digit, how do we know, or how do we make our program know what will be the fourth next digit for this current digit sitting in this character? We need to first make our program educated about these alphabet as well as the digits. Let's do that. Let me take a string variable and let me put all the English alphabets here. Yes, now because I consider that our input can contain small letters, capital letters, digits, special symbols like hash, at the rate, blah blah, anything. So let me also do the same for capital letters, and so for digits. Now, one thing to mention, well, two things to mention here is that in these are all strings, normal strings. And in Python, a string is very similar to a character array in C. What is an array? An array is a homogeneous data structures, means it contains same elements. It contains a list of same elements. And every element, we can access every element directly by its index. So every element is assigned by a position number that usually starts from 0. Similar to here also. So A has index 0, Z has index 25. If you are coming from strongly typed programming language background like C or Java, where the type of a variable, mentioning the type of a variable is mandatory, but here we just don't care to mention the type of variable. We expect that Python interpreter in runtime will understand what type of data this variable is containing. Okay, by looking at the data that is present, that is being assigned to this variable. So that is why Python is also called dynamically typed language. Now I have a question for you. Okay, first question, how do we, if a variable is x, it has no data, how do we represent no data? Like this? No. This means an empty string. This will be a type string. How do we represent that? There is a special keyword called none. This means x has no data. That's one point. And if x has no data, then what will be the type of this variable? Okay. Or, well, for now let me tell only that thing, that every variable is object of some class, instance of some class. So this small alphabet is instance of string in Python, that is called str class. So is this too. And there is a function called type which can print also these type of variables. Let me show you. I wanted to show you this, that Okay, first forget about A. Look at B and C. B is a string, C is a number. So if we try to print the type of these two variables, you see it is saying the class. Well, for now, let me say that whose objects are contained by these variables. That is partially correct though. And if I come back to A has simply nothing, none. So the class of such uninitialized variables which has practically nothing is a none type class. Our intention was to, well, replace every character by its fourth next character from whichever universe it belongs to. It may belong to the alphabet, English alphabet, it may belong to the digits, something like that. So for that, first we need to know what is the position of this character in its own universe. So basically, so to say, what is the position of the character in small alphabet or capital alphabet or digits? Currently, we don't know either the character will be a small alphabet or capital alphabet or a digit or a special character. We don't know. So let us try to find the index of the character from in all these three strings. Okay, index. There is a function like index of in Java. There is a function in similar function in Python also, which is called the find function. Now, if I show you the index of, sorry, if I show you the syntax of the find function, yeah, if you look here, so this is the source string from which we want to locate something in this string. Now, find can find the index of a string like multiple characters or single character. Also, if you notice that the way this function is invoked, it is like string object, string variable dot method. So usually this notation is used if this is an object and this is a method of a class. That is why I was saying that in Python every variable is object of some class, and every class has its own methods. So find is a method of the str or string class. That is why whenever we will invoke find, will have to use this object dot notation. And another thing also I would like to mention here, that as I was saying that the variables are objects, but the correct thing to say will be variables. Basically, variables in Python are very similar to the pointers in C. So they basically point to the memory location where this object is actually stored. So what I mean is that, say this variable text is containing this value, no, there is a block in memory, suppose at memory address 1234. I don't know, I'm just giving a random address. And so there is a block in memory, so every memory block has addresses, we know. In that memory block, this particular string hello welcome to my world is stored, and this text will contain the address 1234, something like, which is the similar, which is very similar to the pointer concept in C. So to conclude, the variables in Python basically holds a reference to a memory block where the value is basically stored. Okay, to keep it simple. Now coming back to our code, let us use this find function to know the position or the index of this character in all these three strings. Okay, let's do that. So the first we would like to, okay, then let me rename this variable. That will be, now this is a usual notation, usual notion to define variables in Python. It's like small letter with underscores like that. How we will invoke the find function, we know that we need to use a string variable, followed by we need to use dot, and then we need to invoke the find function. Okay, now which string variable we will use? We will use the source string variable, in which we want to look for the particular character we want to find the position of. So here our source variable will be small alphabet. That is the source string in which we want to locate our character, and then we will use the find, and we'll simply use character. Okay, so this will give us, if our character in the input is a small alphabet, then it will return us a valid index which will be anything other than -1, so will be anything between 0 to 25. If the character is not a small alphabet, it can be a capital alphabet, it can be a digit, or it can be a special symbol like hash, at the rate, star, anything, then it will return -1. So let us do similar thing for, because we don't know whether the character is a small alphabet or capital alphabet or a digit. So let us do it for these two also. So we have similarly calculated the index. Now let us try to calculate the new index, which will be um, these characters position +4. Okay, and we will then access that particular character from these three strings, which will be sitting at that new index, and we will replace this character. Okay, now let's do step by step. First we will calculate the new index. Now first let us assume that our character was a small alphabet. Let us say that the small alphabet index was not equals -1, because a -1 index is returned by find when the character is not present in the source string. If that is so, so if we think that, oops, I have not used the if notation also, pardon me. Okay, so this will be a condition, and in Python condition syntax, like if syntax is if, give the condition and then colon and then start writing, and this will be in our for loop block. Okay, this means that the small alphabet index is not -1, means we have a valid index which will lie between 0 to 25. The new index will be uh, small alphabet index plus shift. This will give us the new index. It will in most of the cases, but for few cases this will give us error. Why? I think you are also getting it. The example that I showed you, where it is, yeah. Imagine it is an alphabet, and these is the letters are X or Y or Z. And if the letter is X, then what will be the fourth next letter to X? YZ, and then there is nothing. So the position will be the position of X is 26, 25, 24, 23, because it starts from 0. 23, 23 plus 4 is 27, and in 27 there is nothing, so this will be something like the index out of bound error, and we don't want that. So as I said in the beginning, we'll do rotation. We'll make our program think that after Z again A B C D E F comes. It's a cycle. That's a thumb rule, that for rotation the thing that comes to my mind is the modulo operator. So why modulo operator? Let me take a small example. So if I there are four numbers, okay, 0 1 2 3 4, okay, up to 4, or there are four numbers 1 2 3 4. Now if I divide everyone by 4, then what will be the remainder? 4. If I divide 1 by 4, the remainder will be 1. If I divide 2 by 4, the remainder will be 2. If I divide 3 by 4, the remainder will be 3. If I divide 4 by 4, the remainder will be 0. So we'll try to use this here. So as I was saying, that every character here has an index. We'll try to calculate the position. So what we want, that this is right for most of the characters. For W, X, Y, Z, for which the values are exceeding 25, that should again come from A. So for Z, the new index comes as 25 plus 429, but 29 will give index out of bound error. Now if we use the remainder operator, which is the modulo operator, because there are 26 characters in total, so we will yes, we'll do it modulo 26. And what does it give? It will return the index that we want. Think what will be the fourth next letter according to our cycle thing to Z, A, B, C, D. And what is the index? That is something that we want, right? D. What is the index of D? 0, 1, 0A, 1, 2, 3, 3. Now coming back here, what does this give? This gives 3. So if you divide 29 by 26, the remainder comes as 3. That is what exactly we want. This is the magic of modulo operator. So we will use this modulo operator with 26. Why did we take 26? We could also take the length of these variable, but Let us for now take this as 26 by hard coded. So if we do, so the speciality of this modulo 26 is, if now we know that there are 26 characters in this string, every character will have index from 0 to 25. Now coming back here, if you do this modulo 26 to any number, it will always return a value between 0 to 25, like I said for 4. If we do modulo 4 to any number, it will always generate a value that will lie from 0 to 3. Okay, that is why this modulo operator comes handy when we want to do this rotation thingy. Okay, what will be the new character? The character will be the character sitting at this particular index. So how we will access it? Like we access in case of an array, which will be, what is the source array here? Small alphabet and the square brace, and inside the square braces we give the index, because arrays are a data structure that provides us with this direct access thingy with the help of this index. Okay, so now new character will have the replaced character. Now let us do the same for these two also, because we really don't know what is this character in reality, because it can be anything between small alphabet, capital alphabet, or a digit. So we need to do the same conditionally for everyone. So we'll do an else. Now in Python, we basically want to do an else if. So in Python, that is called elif. Cap alphabet index. So suppose this condition was not true, means small alphabet index was indeed -1, meaning there are chances that it's a capital alphabet, it was a capital alphabet or a digit. So we need to then do the encryption logic for the characters for these two also. That is the exact thing that we are doing. So we'll basically do the same, and let me do the same for digits also. So now we have calculated the okay, let me say, now we have found the new character for every possible scenario that could occur, well, almost every possible scenario. If it's a small alphabet, then we know what will be the new character. If it's a capital alphabet, then we also know what will be the new character, or if it is a digit, then we also know what will be a new character. But if it is anything other than these three, it can be any special symbol, space, whatever it is. For simplicity, let it be what it will be. So else, what it will be new character, will it will simply retain whatever it is. So if it is a special symbol, it will be a special symbol in the encryption also. If it is a space, it will be a space in the encryption also. Now so we have, now we know what will be our new character. Now let's concatenate, because this loop for now will take every character, iterate over every character in the input, will find the new character for the encryption, and then we need to prepare the new encrypted string also. So let's take a variable encrypted input, and let me initialize it with a null string. So now Python knows that it will be a string, and we'll do simple concatenation by our new character. So basically our encryption logic is ready. Okay, let me make another function and let me name it as mm, take input, and what it will do, let us ask the user to enter a username of your choice. Okay, And also we will make the user enter a password, and we'll store them. And for now, let us just to test whether our function is working or not, or whether there is any error or not. For now, just let's show the encrypted input. Okay, do the username. For now, this will be encrypted, and password. Now the question is how we will, these are just simple prints. Now how we will accept values, how we will store that. So basically what we want to do, we want to when we are asking for a username, we want to store this username in a variable called username. When we are asking for a password, we want to store that password in a variable called password, and then we want to call this function. That's easy, let me call that. Nope. Password, and similarly we'll call encrypt for username. Okay, we basically want to show the encrypted username, and we basically want to show the encrypted password here. How we will do that? For that, there is a function called input in Python. So instead of this print, we need to use that input function. Okay, so that will be input. So will be this one, and where the value that we are asking the user to enter will get stored. So the value that will be returned by input, we need to capture that into some variable. So let us make a variable. Let me do one thing. Let me call this input function. Let me do a nested function call. Let me call this input function inside this function. Yeah. Similarly, let me do the same for this one also. And once we, so these two variables will have the encrypted values for this username and password, and we want to also print them. For now, let us print the encrypted versions only. Encrypted, we want to print the value from this variable, as well as we want to print the value from this variable. Okay, so this is our take input function. So now let's call this function and test if our logic is working or not. Okay, okay. So a function, so this is just the definition of the function. To really execute this function body, we need to invoke it from somewhere. So we are simply invoking it. And now let me run this. Okay, this is giving some syntax error. Why it is giving syntax error? This at the line 37, let me have a look at it. Okay, so I've done a very basic mistake here. This is if the basically the print syntax is wrong with this colon. If I look at the correct syntax, so these variables should be separated by comma or any arguments. So these are all arguments or parameters to the print function. So any argument will be separated by comma. That should have come very naturally, because function parameters are usually passed by, like, they are comma separated only anyhow. So let me correct it, and yeah, now this should work properly. Let's check. This time this should work fine. And yeah, username of your choice. Let me give my name 11, password test 123 hash. All these characters will be encrypted or shifted by 4 positions except this hash. Wow, amazing. There is something else wrong also. Let me debug. And I think I know this because I think I said that this encrypted username, we are basically expecting a value from this encrypt function, which we are storing in this variable. But this function does not return anything. Yeah, it doesn't return anything. This encrypted input is a local variable to this function. Then let me return this and check what happens. Okay, let me close this terminal. Let me just check if everything is like the for loop. Just cross check. The encrypted input will be formed by concatenating each encrypted character to in this string. So this will be inside the for loop only, but this is the for loop body, but the return will be outside for loop inside function. Outside for loop inside function. Return encrypted string, encrypted input. And if now we run test 123 dollar. Wow. Now let us check. D should be the fourth next. E F G H. Yes, H. E should be F G H I. I. B should be C D E F. F. Nice. A should be B C D E. Nice. So it'll be S R. I'm just too lazy to compute that. E E I, nice. And for T will be, I'm just too lazy to compute. T, E is easier. E will be F, G, H, I. That's correct. And 1 will be 4 next. So 5, 2 will be 4 plus 2, 6. 3 will be 4 plus 3, 7. And dollar will be as it is. So our encryption logic is also working. We have already completed building our encryption logic where whatever input user will give to us, for simplicity we are only taking the username and password for registration. We will not store them directly, rather we will encrypt them. So now we are able to encrypt them using the Caesar cipher uh, cryptography logic. Okay, now let us store multiple users data into a list. So a list in Python is very similar to the array concept in C or Java. So how does it look? This is a list. This is very similar to array. In this list, this is containing strings, but in our case, so list just like array, every element has an index 0, 1, 2, like that. And also, our list will not store primitive data like integer or string. Our list will store non-primitive data. Like our list, for every index of this list, it will have username and password corresponding to a particular user. So for that, we will keep dictionaries in this list. How does a dictionary look in Python? A dictionary is nothing but a key value pair. So like the JSON key value pair data. So for us, this will be keys, username and password, and the corresponding values. Of course, we'll store them in encrypted format. And if I come back here and in the list, we will make use of this append method to append new items at the end of the list. Let's go back. First, let me declare one empty list. Um, how do we modify it? Here we are simply capturing the returned value in variables. Instead, let us make use of this append method also, and that will be our list dot the list object append. And what it will have here, we will append dictionary. As I said, dictionary is key value pair. So that's the dictionary. If I go back where it was, yeah, dictionary, the syntax is curly brace, and inside there will be the key and the value, comma separated. So this is an empty dictionary as of now. So what it will have, suppose we have a key called username and a password. Those will be our keys. These two are our keys. And what will be the value corresponding to this username? Our encrypted username. So basically oops, and similar to the password, this will be encrypted password. Username and password. Silly mistake. The colon will be key colon value. That's the thing. Okay, outside. Okay, now it's fine. So every entry of our list will have an object or a dictionary, and that will have two keys. One will be username that will store the encrypted username of the user, and the password that will be also the encrypted password. For now, let me print this dictionary only to check whether our code works properly or not. And yeah, let me call this take input function. Okay, let me run this. Okay, for simplicity, and the password will be test. Yeah, you see, it is printing the username and password. And as I said, uh, our system is storing both username and password in encrypted format. Here it is. Nice. What we can do now, yes, there can be multiple users. We need to accept multiple users data in a row. Let us do something like that. Let me create a main function then. What it will do, let me do some nice printing. And also, so this will be an infinite loop, and what we will do, okay, then let me ask my user whether they want to register. Something like, do you want to register? Yes or no. And let me store that somewhere in a variable called x. And let me check if x, yeah, if x, because user can enter a capital Y or small y, so let me just convert x to small y and then match with a small y. Then if user wants to register, then let me call this function, and this function will store the user data into, as we have done, into our users list. And let's remove the take input function invocation also, as we are anyhow calling it from inside main here. Users, and also will users registered so far. Okay, yeah, just for looking good. So this is our basic structure is almost ready. So we'll take input and this will continue, or let me break this loop. Else, yeah, break. If user enters anything other than y for yes, then we'll break out this while loop, and this print statement will be outside this while body. Looks good to me. Okay, let me run this. Clear this. Yep. Let me run this. Okay, this is because we are not invoking this main function. This is just the definition of the function. This is not like C that automatically the execution will start from main. Miss those days. Yeah. Yes, I want to, not there. Here, I want to register. Yes, and password 123. Very bad password. No. Yes. This is showing me the users registered so far. Now I want to add another thing that if the username already exists, then it should stop me from registration. Let me add that logic inside where we can add that inside our take input function. Okay. Now for that, what we need to do here before appending, we need to check for duplicate. So we need to search in the list to check whether in any of the index of this list, whether in any of the dictionaries stored in those list indices, whether the username entered matches the username stored. Okay, so that will be uh, two string match, because for two same strings the encryption result will also be same, right? So anyhow they will be matched. So basically we need to match something, get a key out of, get a value of a key out of a dictionary, and then we need to match with a normal variable. Okay, let's do that. Okay, now for dictionaries, so basically we need to access items. Now any item of the list we can, just like an array, we can access by index. Okay, that's sorted. Now, to access any item from the dictionary, there is a function called get, and the get accepts the key. Okay, so if we pass the key inside the get function for a dictionary, then it will fetch the corresponding value stored for that particular key, like it is doing here. So we'll do similar thing in our code. Let's do that. So we need to iterate over our list. Whenever I say iterate over something, then for iteration we have for loops. Let me use a for loop. So we will iterate over a list. So basically we will go through every item of that list. So this is our iteration variable in users. So here this will be a value stored in every any index of this list, users list. And what it will check, we will check. What we will check? Let me, yeah. We will check if, now what is this? This is a dictionary, because in every index of the list a dictionary is stored, right? So we will use the get function here, and what we will pass inside get, we will pass the key. What is the key? Our key will be username. So let me copy that, and so whatever value will be returned by this get, we will match with our encrypted username. If this is true, then we will disallow the registration. Let me take a boolean variable, say match found false. If this is true, then I will make match found true, else it will continue checking. And we will append this username and password to our users list only when the match found is false. So let me, okay, let me also print a nice statement here, like exists. Okay, and let me break. There is no need to, and we are breaking this loop body because there is no need to check further users or further list items if for any, if at any index the dictionary is stored. has same username as given by the current user. Okay, and now outside this loop we'll check match found. Only then we will allow this current username and password to get appended. Or for example, I can also print something like out. And also I think let me take the password. Yes, once the username is allowed, only then we'll take the input for the password and then we'll append to our users list. This is pretty much what our take input function does. Now this is outside loop. Now let us check. And yes, let us run and check. Yes, I want to register. Yeah, username allowed. 123. Yes, I want to register. And let me use the same username. Yes, it is giving what we wanted. I don't want. And yes. Now our storage part is also ready. Just we want to do two more things. One is we want to display the list of users in a better way, and also we at least the username we want to decrypt while display but not the password. Let's do it. Otherwise more or less our project is done. So let me make a copy of this encrypt function. The decryption will be same thing. What the decryption will do, here we are shifting by 4 characters ahead, and in the decryption we will shifting by 4 characters um, to left. So here we are doing right shift, there we will do left shift. So here we are replacing every character by its fourth next character, and in the decryption we will replace every character by its fourth previous character. So same thing. So let me make a function. Okay, let me first copy paste and decrypt input shift 4. These are will be all same, just, and this will be same. Yes, instead of plus shift we'll do minus shift. Plus shift minus shift instead of plus shift minus shift. And these are decrypted, and here also decrypted. And that's our decrypt logic is also ready. And now let us build a show users function. What it will do, it will loop through our users list. For every user's username, it will decrypt the username and then display, and the password it will display as it is. So let's do that. For that I want to access every user's details stored in the users list. So for that I need to know the index. So basically the iteration variable, I need to get the index in our iteration variable. So for that what we need to do, mm, let me take an iteration variable I, but if I simply take in users, then what will be stored in I? So for every iteration, one dictionary will be stored into I, the dictionary that is stored at every index of the users list. We don't want that. We want I to be the index. So if there are 5 items, we want I to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. For that, there is a way. So basically we need to iterate up to the length of our, so length is a function that will tell us the length of a list. And there is another function called range, which is a very useful function. What it will do, so if you pass any number in range, so if you write something as range 5, then it will give you the numbers from 0 to 4, which is exactly what we need here. So whatever be the length of user, be it 10, be it 100, be it 1, 2, 3, doesn't matter. What, say if the length is 10, then we want our I in every iteration to get a number from um, 0 to 9. So that is exactly the range function will do. So why we needed this? Because we want to access the items of the list by um, its index. So we need the indices into I, our iteration variable. Okay. So coming back here, so what it will do? It will simply print mm, users. This is a fancy print statement, does nothing. And yeah, here we will print the username, and we will decrypt. We will decrypt, and what we will pass? We will pass the username of the first user. So the user details that stored into the first index of users, and then now users I will return me the element that is stored into the ith index of users, that's the dictionary. And then we can use the get method, and there we will pass the key. The key is also username. Okay, so then this will be displayed also. Then password, oops, and the password will be also password. We can simply um, we don't need to decrypt, so we can directly display the password by get, by passing the key. The key is the password. I hope that I have maintained the casing properly. So yes, that is it. Let us test and check for bugs. Yes, I want to register. Yeah, and username allowed, amazing. Then password. Yeah, I would like to register for another one. That will be, yes, and the password will be just test 45. And yes, I'd like to register for another one. That will be, let me use the same username. Nice. No, I don't want to register anymore. Hmm. And I see, okay, my bad. Because this print statement has not decrypted the usernames, and also this has just printed the list because it is being printed from the main function. I have not invoked this function, the function that we just created. Amazing. So yes, this is getting printed from here. So instead of this, we need to invoke our show users function. I just hope I have not committed such silly mistakes. Okay, yes, I want to register. Let me do the same thing. Yes, I want to register another one. Just that used to be my favorite cartoon, by the way. And enter a password. Test hash hash. Yes, I would like to register another one, and this time I'll use the same username. Yes, registration not allowed. Amazing. No. Okay. Two things to see that this print line that is coming again and again because I think this is inside our loop and also the passwords are not coming. Let us debug what has happened. First, easy thing. Show users. Yes, there is no need to keep it inside the loop. That's awful. Just I'm just moving it out of the loop. And I think have I used the wrong key? Let me check. Take input. Take input had that key. No, that's password only. Or there is a dot. There is a space. I think there was a space. And let me run it again and check this time because yeah, there was a space and that is why it came to this line. So the key given here was wrong and because password without an end space, there was no key present in the dictionary. So let's run it again. This time hope things should be fine. Yes, I want to register and nice username allowed password test 45. Yes, I want to register Ben 10. Enter a password YT56 hash hash. Yes, I want to register. I want to check Ben 10. Should not be allowed. Correct. Looks good so far. And I don't want to register anymore. Nice. So our user registration system project is done. We have learned a lot of nice things. We have learned the basic concepts of Python. Now we know how to write if-else blocks, how to define functions in Python, how to call a function. We have learned a lot of nice concepts. We know how to use list, how to retrieve data from dictionary, how to access items from a list, or we also know how to encrypt our data using Cipher. And yeah, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions, please ping in the comments. I'd also love to learn from your questions. And see you with another project soon. Bye bye.